Is affordability a hoax, a scam, or a con job?
Senator, it may be a bit nuanced for you, but what President Trump is referring to is the media saying that the affordability crisis was generated by this administration when it was you and President Biden who destroyed the buying power of the American people. So there is an affordability crisis, and you were front and center in it.
Wow. Okay, guys, did you see that look on Scott Bessent's face? Absolutely unbothered. Look, we all know the game by now. Elizabeth Warren goes into these Senate hearings with one goal: to secure a dramatic 10-second clip for her social media feed. She loves to come out swinging, trying to set these rhetorical traps for anyone associated with Trump's economic team. But Bessent is a seasoned professional. He knows exactly what kind of partisan theater she's trying to pull. In this video, we're going to watch the full exchange. We'll see how Bessent completely refuses to take the bait, stays cool under pressure, and shifts the blame right back to the policies that actually started this affordability crisis in the first place. Before we dive into the rest of this heated exchange, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a like on this video. Let's watch how this unfolds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for a solid year while he ran for president, Donald Trump promised pretty much every day that he was going to lower costs on day one, if he was elected. Those were his words, not mine. So Secretary Bessent, you are one of the president's top economic advisors. Let's just start with a little truth-telling about the Trump economy 1 year in. Affordability is the top concern for Americans across the country. Donald Trump has called affordability, I want to get this right, a hoax. He's called it a scam. He's called it a con job. You're the Secretary of Treasury. You know the numbers. Is affordability a hoax, a scam, or a con job?
Senator, it may be a bit nuanced for you, but what President Trump is referring to is the media saying that the affordability crisis was generated by this administration when it was you and President Biden who destroyed the buying power of the American people. So there is an affordability crisis, and you were front and center in it.
So let me make sure that I understand. Donald Trump is not saying that affordability, what's happening to families right now, is a hoax?
He is saying that trying to lay the blame at this administration rather than the Biden-Warren economy is a hoax.
Okay, so it all happened before he got it. And everything that's happened since then, nothing is a hoax here.
21.5% cumulative inflation.
Let me just ask about what's happened in the 1 year that Donald Trump has been president. Last week, President Trump said, quote, "We have the groceries going down." Did grocery prices drop in 2025?
Numerous prices have.
Did grocery prices drop in 2025?
Numerous grocery prices have gone down.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you can't hear me. Did grocery prices drop in 2025?
Numerous grocery prices have gone down.
Some of them.
And in fact, we have seen inflation at 2.1% for the past 3 months.
Have you seen the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that is Donald Trump's own Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers, that report that grocery prices were 2.4% higher at the end of 2025 than they were at the end of 2024. Trump's own Department of Agriculture has projected that those prices would climb higher in 2026. And under Donald Trump, families are paying more and more for groceries. So if you're just going to insult people by denying the facts that are out there and tell people they're doing great when they're struggling, I think that's just another way to say you don't have a plan to bring down these prices. You're not willing to admit the failures of the Trump administration.
Senator.
I will ask you a question in just a sec here. It's not just groceries. The numbers from Trump's own economic agency show that Americans are paying more for utility bills, more for health care, more for housing construction. Families aren't fooled by these lies. Mr. Secretary, you owe it to American families to own up what's going on. And Secretary Bessent, I have one more question for you while I have you here. You ran the search for Donald Trump's Fed chair nominee, and Trump promised, quote, anyone that disagrees with me will never be Fed chairman. Kevin Warsh got the nod last Friday, and then over the weekend, Donald Trump joked that he would sue Mr. Warsh if he failed to lower interest rates. At least, I think it was a joke. But just in case, this should be an easy one, Mr. Secretary. Can you commit right here and now that Trump's Fed nominee, Kevin Warsh, will not be sued, will not be investigated by the Department of Justice if he doesn't cut interest rates exactly the way that Donald Trump wants?
That is up to the president. Can you commit that you will?
I'm sorry.
Can you commit that you will not hold up?
He won't be sued if he doesn't drop interest rates.
And he
won't be criminally investigated.
The president also made a big joke about you that I won't repeat, Senator Warren.
That was the easy one.
Actually, I will. He said he had reservations.
If this was a joke, why not just say so?
It was a joke, and he made a joke about you too, Senator Warren.
Yes, he
got a lot of laughs. A lot of laughs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to respond to that.
I do want to respond.
What I can't
don't
tell you
think
to
the American
is
people
Mr.
are
Warsh
laughing.
is highly qualified.
They're the ones who are struggling with affordability.
Why don't you tell the nation what you told me that you held up?
I mean, seriously, guys, is anyone actually surprised by this performance? Let's talk about the absolute nerve it takes for Elizabeth Warren to lecture anyone on an affordability crisis. She is sitting there acting like inflation just magically dropped out of the sky the moment Donald Trump took office for his second term. It's completely detached from reality. We went through years of massive unchecked spending that gutted the buying power of the average American family. And who was leading the cheerleading squad for those exact economic policies? Senator Warren herself. What I love about this clip is how Scott Bessent handled the pressure. He was a class act. Warren tried to bully him into a corner, asking him the exact same question about grocery prices over and over again, hoping he'd slip up or get flustered. But Bessent didn't blink. He calmly stood his ground and pointed out the nuance. Yes, we've seen numerous grocery prices start to ease up, and yes, the massive cumulative inflation families are struggling was a direct result of the previous administration's policies. He essentially took her trap, flipped it upside down, and handed it right back to her. And you could tell it was driving her crazy. When she realized she wasn't going to get her clean, edited, gotcha moment on the economy, she suddenly pivoted to this wild conspiracy theory about a weekend joke Trump made regarding his Fed nominee, Kevin Warsh. She tried to turn a light-hearted comment into some massive constitutional crisis. Bessent's response was perfect. He didn't get defensive. He just casually reminded her that was a joke, and even threw in a jab about how the president joked about her, too. The look on her face when he said that was absolutely priceless. Her grand plan fell completely flat, because she was dealing with a serious economic mind who refuses to play petty political games. At the end of the day, this hearing highlights a major contrast. On one side, you have Warren, who has no real solutions and just wants to weaponize data for political points. On the other, you have Bessent, who is focused on doing the actual work to clean up the economic mess. But I want to know what you guys think. Did Bessent handle her perfectly? Or do you think Warren actually had a point? Let me know down in the comments below.